I mean, the other PayPal account goes into me, so I can buy the shirts and put it back. We actually have $100, I think, in PayPal right now because we actually got a couple bumps from Audible. I wasn't expecting.
Oh, nice.
Like the last 2 months, we've gotten paid from that, so that was good. Okay, so what are we doing? Calling.
I'll call in just a minute.
Okay.
I'm opening up my stuff.
The late night hour. The late night hour with the usual late night hour.
That's awesome that they made the tavern the usual.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna re-listen to that episode after this. I actually thought I was hearing things, and then hear those guys. I'm gonna have to write them in and tell them because that was pretty damn cool. There's something weird. Earlier today, there was a student who was talking about for his senior project. He was presenting something, and then he said somebody brought up that had a logo for Razer, but it was the scooter, not the computer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, it looks like this. And I pointed at my computer, the back of my laptop. And then, like, the very next period, some of the kids came in that were in that class. And I got this email from Razer. Like, it's really, it was just a weird thing. Like, I mean, it was just one of those coincidences. But anyway.
What email from Razer did you get?
I just got an email from Razer. I get them periodically.
Right.
But it was just, how am I going to all of a sudden get, an email from Razer when I was just talking about it? It was just weird. Anyway.
Yeah, that is weird.
Magic, what's up?
What's up, Magic?
What up?
All right.
I got to check my sound. She might not even be able to hear me.
And let me call you now.
Oh, we should be good. Oh, we're doing good. Just got out of Deadpool late night recording sesh. Oh, good. I'm glad you hear me. Yeah, we're going to talk a little Deadpool at the end. Talk a little roadmap. A couple other things. The huge. How are things with you? Are you joining WOG tomorrow? Question of the day right there. Why is this logo so much bigger than the other one? There we go.
That's what she said.
Yeah, that's what Magic would say. I'm glad she's in there. Alright.
I'm calling you.
Oh, sorry, dude. Okay, I got you. I got you, bro. Nice face. Nice face, dude.
Can you hear me, Magic?
Can you hear it in your eyes? The magic children must be asleep, huh? What do we call them? Magic kids? Magic babies?
Magic babies.
I was just singing that song earlier today, dude. We were talking Muppets with Shagru and those kids. Alright. Alright, we're good. Nice. That's alright. Next time, no biggie. In combat. Alright, dude. Let's just get into this and get out of here. It's late.
Am I muted?
Huh?
Am I muted?
Say something?
I said something.
You're not muted. You're just...
That one's not me. That's the board. Am I too?
That's muted.
Well, yeah, but that's for the bumpers.
No,
and stuff.
you're good.
Okay. Just making sure.
Could turn you up a little bit, but... Alright, you're a little low, I feel like.
Thanks, Magic.
I feel like you're a little low, maybe. Why am I hosting BB again?
You're low.
Why does it say we're hosting BB Network again? What is it? What's the picture on yours? Us?
I see us.
All right, I'm gonna refresh this. I don't know what's going on over here. Says we were offline. Oh no, we're back. Okay. Word. All right, let's do this thing. Have you looked at that roadmap? Roadmap.
I have not yet.
It's pretty cool. All right, some cool stuff, dude. We'll chat about it. Chat about it. About it. About it. You got kicked from the SWOTOR server? That's no good. Alright, ready? Oh, thank you.
I'm ready.
Is my computer ready? That's the question. Here it goes.
Last year from the Death Star. That thing's operational.
But Ben, now might be a really good time for you to get angry.
That's my secret, Cat. I'm always angry.
Hello and welcome to episode 136 of The Usual Podcast, a podcast where we discuss Star Wars: The Old Republic, the Star Wars franchise, and geek and pop culture. I'm your host, Marshall, and with me, after a late night movie, is my co-host, Will. What's up, bro? You didn't like that weird pause?
It sounded like you were about to tell me what the date was in the Star Log.
Starlog, we're just sitting here enjoying our usual frosty beverages. What are you drinking, dude?
I think you're enjoying a Star Log.
Oh, you son of a goat.
No, actually, I'm not imbibing right now, but I had a nice Captain of Coke with dinner.
I did. Oh, man. Boy, I've had some beverages tonight, but that's
Little
okay.
bit.
Right now, judge much?
I
Right
didn't.
now, I'm back to Little Something Ale. I did have a Macallan 12 with dinner. What else did I have
a
tonight?
couple Stardust,
Oh, and a Stardust or two. Yeah, it was nice.
little
and,
bullet,
and some bullet. Look, here's the thing. It's been a long week. Okay.
and a little something.
And a little something to cap an epic evening at the Deadpool 2 premiere night. And Magic in the chat room is also enjoying a frosty beverage with us, so thank you for being there, Magic. And before we get started, if you have comments or questions, you can find us at theusualpodcast.com. Email us at theusualpodcast@gmail.com. And we're on Facebook, Google+, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. I am at Darth Pops on Twitter, and Will is at Admiral Griggs. We're on iTunes, Stitch Radio, Google Play, and all those things. So tell your friends, like us, share us, and all that. Tons of ways to support the show. We'll talk more about it at the end. But, of course, with San Diego Comic-Con looming in the very near distance, we have teespring.com/store/usual podcast. You can buy merch, and we're going to do a thing, right? Contest? soon?
Every now second year in a row, we're going to
Yep.
be doing a contest on who can design our annual Pucked shirt.
Yep.
Last year's winner was Mox.
Yep.
And he won a shirt, and a whole bunch of us wore it at the
I think we all did.
Puck Cantina, and it'll be nice.
Yeah. It's going to be good.
Let's
And
get so send your suggestions to, make your design first of all,
Yeah.
and then send it into either the usual podcast at gmail.com or hit either one of us up on Twitter.
Indeed. And we'll have more details about our Puck Cantina year 3 right before we talk about Deadpool 2. I feel like that's a lot of numbers. But anyway, we do have the timestamps in the
You're
show
number
notes.
one.
Oh, thanks, buddy. We have the timestamps in the show notes for non-SWOTOR fans, but we're going to hop through all our sections this week, get to Deadpool, and get to sleep because both of us are exhausted. But we have enough energy for this show, don't we, buddy?
We do.
Well, here we are.
Dynamite, drop it.
Thanks to everybody in the chat room. Magic, thanks for being there. And everybody else, you guys are awesome. So jump in whenever you have something to say. We will entertain all the things.
Magic, we want you to go too, so come on down to Comic-Con.
Oh, by the gods, would you get down there? Next year is your year, Magic. Next year's your year. All right, so we are going to get to SWOTOR really quick. But before we get to that, let's talk about our drinking buddies, of course. One of them usually joins us for premiere nights and couldn't make it tonight. That is our longtime buddy, Eddie. Drinking buddy, Eddie.
Yep, Eddie, but he had a swim meet today.
He did. And we have John Skeen, of course, who was on the show a couple episodes back, and we will have him on in the very, very near future. So thanks to those guys for supporting the show and all our patrons, of course. And you can find all that at patreon.com/theusualpodcast. So
Seriously, for the cost of
here we go.
less than a cup of coffee a day,
Yep. All right.
you too can become a drinking buddy.
Can we just get to SWTOR now?
For the cost of less than a shot of whiskey a
All right.
day.
We're not trying to, like, save dead, dying puppies or anything, dude. I mean,
In the
oh my God. Okay. Bumper. Stop it.
angel.
You talk about me. Sucker. Here we go.
You want to fight? I'm ready.
You do not have to stand against me. Instead, I will share all of this with you if you will only kneel.
Okay, I have to interject here really quick.
Interject. I haven't even started the section. Go for it.
No, it's just because we were just listening to the incredible voice of Darren DePaul.
Ah, yes.
And if you follow Darren DePaul on Twitter or Instagram, it was fantastic because he went to a Renaissance fair this week.
Did he really?
And he posted some pictures of him in some Ren garb.
Oh, he's amazing.
And it was awesome.
We got to see what he's doing Friday night. See if he
Oh,
might
absolutely.
drop by and revisit some old friends.
Yeah, he was there last year.
Yeah, he didn't come last year. Our very
thought he
first
stopped by.
Puck Cantina. No, he didn't come by last year. Remember?
Oh, wow.
He had a bunch of conflicts.
Right. He was busy man.
He's more famous than we are,
way more famous.
and that's okay. But we'll reach
Plus,
out
he's
to
the
him.
emperor.
Yeah, well, he's a lot of things, and he's a better man than us. Have I said that already?
In many ways.
All right, moving on. All right, so speaking of SWTOR, we're going to skip over our weeks in game because we did very little. Actually, no. Let me back up. I actually,
I did more Kotet.
yeah, and I got WOG coming up again, and I'm excited about that. I think last episode, no, I did WOG again. Yeah,
Was this the one where you fell asleep?
nope. I only fell asleep twice,
Nice.
and I sleep tanked the crap out of that.
Awesome.
I think we did KP. It was fun.
Hey, as long as you keep threat, it don't matter if you're awake.
Indeed. Well, I had Sakari. He got my back.
There you go.
All right, so let's move on.
Talk about a better man.
Yeah, right. Better hair too, and I have pretty good hair. Just saying.
I
So
have awesome hair.
okay, next week we are going to talk about the Nathema conspiracy for sure. I promise we're going to do it. It's going to be a thing, but we have to play it first to talk about it.
Magic just called you out.
Yep, she likes. Oh yeah, I did fall asleep. Magic, thank you for throwing me under the bus on my show. I appreciate that. No, it's funny because I was exhausted and I'm tired now, but it was my first not first week back, but it was just tough trying to stay awake.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Sakari had my back. So, and more importantly, Magic had my back, healing the mess out of a drunken sleeping tank.
Dude, a couple nights ago, I was in bed before 8.
Gross. I don't even know what that looks like.
Well, I had a migraine, so that didn't help.
Oh, that sucks. All right, let's move on. So, news, SWTOR. Let's talk about this stuff. So, there was a bug where if you had gotten, you know how there's that terminal and you can get companions ahead of time?
Right.
Right? There was a bug that said that basically if you had done that with Mako, the
You
alert
wouldn't get her quest?
Yeah, the alert wasn't working. I think they fixed it. It's Charles Boyd says, as pointed out by others in the thread, a player who previously used the companion terminal to get Mako back should have no issue with getting the recently released Alliance alert where she returns the story. So we apologize that inaccurate information was shared and make sure it's clarified on it. So I think maybe they said that you couldn't, but you in fact could.
Okay, and
And really, it's just a story. You already have her.
right. You don't, to clarify, you have to get through the Kotet stuff.
Yeah. And I think that's a misconception, too. for
Is
some
it just
people.
Kotet, or do you have to get through Kotet and then the...
I don't know. I've gone through it on so many tunes. I don't know. I think you have to go through at least...
Do you have
I
to go through Zyos? Or do
No, but you
go-
have to have started the stuff with the trader stuff.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But, okay.
I don't know. Like I
All
said,
right, we'll figure it out.
there's an issue there. So, there, I have a link in the show notes. There was something about a message after Anathema, and maybe I'm saying that wrong. I don't really
Is
care.
it Anathema or Anathema?
I don't know. People are telling. I say Anathema because that was from the novel, and some people, I think it was Red, and some other folks were like, "Yeah, but it's supposed to be Anathema," and I'm just gonna keep saying
Speaking of that-
Anathema as in defiance.
Because
I'm like that.
because Coruscant was actually invented in the books
Yeah.
by Timothy Zahn and not in the movies. The first time I ever encountered the word was in the book. So you know what I always called it?
What?
Coruscant.
And
always-
Magic's telling me I'm wrong, so I'm going to keep saying Nathema.
I always called it Coruscant. And so when we got to the prequels and they finally
It's like crusty, dude. It's gross.
pronounced it Coruscant, I was like, that's better.
That's why one of the reasons I like audiobooks, but because I listen to all the Star Wars novels on audiobooks, and in the one that I listened to, it was Nathema, and then now apparently it's
Oh, so
Nathema.
the actual person read it as Nathema?
And then I guess in the somebody said in the chat, and Magic is telling me as well, thank you, Magic, that they came back and said it's actually Nathema. So I don't know, dude. I honestly don't. Or I don't really care.
True.
So my caring level is low, and I'm going to keep going.
All right, let's go.
All right, so Musco's back in the office.
Awesome.
And I have a follow-up to Musco being back later in the show when it comes to our Puck Cantina.
Awesome.
But he's back in the office. He made a post saying he's got to play some catch-up. And,
So he survived his
his wedding, his honeymoon, and all that.
Honeymoon.
Yeah, well, congrats to Eric Musco again. He is an awesome human person. And I've emailed him back and forth a couple times today, and I have a follow-up later in the show for that. There was an issue that the people who downed, I think it was the last boss, Isaacs, during that extended period when they the release date changed.
Right.
For that, they're going to get their achievements in 5.9.1.
Okay.
So it's give them a minute. So the big news that really the only reason that I have a SWTOR section in here today is because of the summer roadmap that was released today.
Yes.
Okay. So there's no. I meant to make some bullet points. The PvP thing is crazy cool, and I have a couple things to say about that. But the first thing is basically, where do I want to start? Okay, so quality of life improvements. There's guild updates coming in the near future as well. And obviously, he's saying, we ended the traitor storyline. So the first thing, quality of life improvements. And he says they're trying to focus on improving gameplay features based on suggestions with Galactic Command and Conquest and rank PvP and all that. And so they're working on that stuff. And that's kind of the focus, right? So the big thing is, I love this next part. But before we get to that, really what I'm going to say is they want to incorporate more player feedback. So the big thing is that they're trying to get more people into the PTS to test pre-release game stuff so that they can get feedback from the community, right? The other thing, Solo, obviously, it comes out next week.
Yeah, it does.
And we'll be recording this a week from tonight and talking about Han Solo.
Yeah,
which is
we
awesome.
will.
So Solo: A Star Wars Story hits theaters next week. And they're basically saying they're bringing back the casino event, which is the Nar Shaddaa nightlife event.
I'm going to get that damn
You're
Rancor.
not going to get it, and it's going to be fine. And they're going to have cartel market items, including a sale on scoundrel-specific items, which I think is fitting. And they're also going to do, it says, available starting on May 22nd for 10 days, including double XP, CXP, and GSF. And the Nar Shaddaa event will continue till June 30th, which is pretty cool. There's also going to be a chance to get your hands on a new TF-4 Rampage speeder by being a premium player by May 31st. So if you've been a subscriber, you're going to get this cool speeder, and it looks pretty cool. I should put it in the chat, but I'm not going to do that right now.
Oh, that is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. So there's that, and it'll be available in-game via in-game mail on June 9th.
Seriously, this is now like the third year of the nightlife thing,
Yeah.
and I haven't gotten the Rancor from the first year yet I've blown up the darn slot machine like 5 times.
How's that going for you?
I hate you so much.
Well, I'm sorry you haven't gotten the things, but I'm going to keep going. I bet Magic got the things. I bet she got the Rancor. I bet.
Whatever. Go ahead.
All right. The big news in this is the player versus player changes. And strangely, there's some Stronghold stuff wrapped in this. So check this out.
Interesting.
So over the summer, they're going to convert more, if not all, of the war zones and arenas to cross-faction. So that'll help with queues.
Good.
They're adding a new arena.
So does that mean it's better than cross-faction?
Indeed. So they're adding a new arena in a compound you've seen before, which I think is interesting. They're developing a new Hut Ball War Zone. in the dangerous and dizzying heights of industrial planet. Coruscant? Corellia?
No.
Corellia, maybe? I don't know.
Ooh,
I'll let you ponder that.
Bespin.
Well, yeah, but I imagined it was a planet we had already, but that's fine. And they're going to have a new stronghold with a beachfront view. And so he says, now you ask, what does that mean have to do with PvP? In fact, quite a bit. So check this out. This is so cool. For the first time, they're introducing a stronghold designed around PvP, which can be tailored toward player-driven dueling, 4v4 or 8v8 battles. We know there's a passionate audience of PvP players who run their own dueling tournaments within their strongholds, so we want to support that by making some under-the-hood improvements and by tailoring the spaces to support different styles of play.
Interesting.
What I think it reminds me of is when Halo launched their Forge aspect to their deal.
Okay.
And so basically you could actually design... Oh, Zaku. I bet that's Zakul. I bet that's what it is. Nice magic. Industrial planet. Anyway, I bet it reminds me of that though. You could basically make your own PvP arenas and do it any way you want. You had the freedom to move boxes and make, cover points and bunkers and all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of what they're alluding to that they're going to do.
Okay, cool.
Which I think is kind of cool. And I think it'll really help with guild events and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And
It's definitely going to make games and parties more.
Exactly. And along with that, beyond September, they're talking about guild improvements, cool companions returning, and that kind of thing, which I think is awesome. Other PvP stuff, end of Season 9, and the matchmaking system overall, they're working on that. So, any thoughts on this, my friend?
A beachfront storm or stronghold, that would be on Rishi?
I hope Rishi. I really do.
Rishi would be cool.
I think Rishi would be cool. Who else has beaches? Is Alderaan?
Yeah, but they're like cold beaches.
Yeah, well, that planet's dead now, but that's something else. Anyway, any other thoughts on this?
No, I think that's good.
It's a pretty cool update, man. And so obviously there's going to be more stuff coming down the line for sure. And I like the idea that they really are trying to give back something to give more to the PvP fan base. It's been a while.
Right, it's been a while.
Yeah, it has been. And of course they have more story, solo stuff, all kinds of stuff coming too. And this is neat, man. I like that the update is coming now. We're getting into the summer and there's going to be all kinds of stuff.
Oh, Magic makes a good point. Voss Stronghold would be fun.
Yeah, Voss would be neat. I love Voss.
A lot of good architecture there.
Yeah, I still want a Voss species to
that'd be cool.
But they're very tall, which I guess was the thing that the canon reason they say we don't have it.
That's stupid.
But here we are. All right, man. So let's get to our Star Wars section. We only have a couple things, but we have some big things, which is pretty awesome, right?
Word.
I was raised to do one thing. But I've got nothing to fight for.
Nothing will stand in our way. I will finish what you started.
All right, man. So we got, I want to give a big, okay, so a while back, I told you Joa left the Cantina cast.
Right.
And the Cantina cast, although we don't do our, podcast corner segment anymore, really, but for me, the Cantina cast was one of not only my favorite Star Wars podcasts, specific. They started off as a SWOTOR podcast.
Right, and then they switched to
They
Star
left
Wars.
for a bit, came back to Star Wars in general.
Right.
And they got really big, and they're a really amazing show, and I've really liked them a lot. Joa left the show not too long ago, and episode 230, which just got released a few days ago,
Wow.
was Mike's last show.
Really?
Yes and no. He's not leaving altogether. He's just not going to be the host of the show.
Oh, so the person you brought in for
Yeah, they have Albert and the other dude's name just flew in my head. But there's two guys. They're very good. They've been hanging out with him for the last few episodes, and the show is still great. They're still gonna do what they do, but I feel like the two new guys are gonna take it kind of in their own
Okay,
direction
that's
for
cool.
sure. But I wanted to give a big shout out to Mike and tell him. And I'm gonna link to this part of the show at some point because it's been a while since we talked. But I love the fact that not only have they let me onto their show a couple times and us, but they've come on our show.
Yep.
And they're just longtime friends of the show. And I wish Mike the best of luck. He's starting a new podcast. He is still behind the scenes doing their Canteen After Dark stuff and that kind of thing. So he's not gone. He's just not hosting the show
Right, just changing his,
fully.
his
Exactly.
viewpoint.
And if you haven't listened to Cantina Cast, they're a great podcast for sure. And I've been listening to them for
To have done 230 episodes, it's going to have to be.
I've been listening to them for a very, very long time. I think I've listened to every episode they've ever done. So,
I mean, on the other hand, work's a little crap, and we're at 136.
and
so.
here we are. So I just wanted to give him a shout out at the top of the Star Wars section and just say listen to them. But also, Mike, you're awesome. And maybe we can get together and chat again soon.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. So what do we got? Star Wars Celebration.
So,
dude.
yeah, big news came out this week. Star Wars Celebration got announced for 2019. And so far, the major celebrations have been in Orlando, Anaheim, London, and Germany, I
They
believe.
did LA too, didn't they?
Yeah, I said Anaheim.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry. Yep.
But this year it's going to be in Chicago, which is very cool. Which actually does have some Star Wars connection through George Lucas.
Yep.
Who did a lot of work in Chicago. So, so that'll be kind of cool. So 2019, they already have the dates, and I want to say August sometime.
Yeah. No, that's actually kind of exciting because I was actually just talking to somebody at my other job last night who is from Chicago, and we were talking about Chicago. My sister lived in Chicago for a while. I love the city.
Right. It's a cool town.
Yeah, it'd be a really nice reason to go out to Chicago and maybe see some friends in the Midwest.
April 11th through the 15th.
Nice.
Yeah, it's actually only 5 hours from where a couple of my sisters are going to be living.
Yeah, and Magic says it's close to her, so that'll be kind of cool. I know there's a lot of John Skeen included, a lot of guys out in the Midwest that I think
we're going to have to try for some press pass.
I think that'd be awesome, dude. Let's make that happen. We'll keep you posted on that.
Word.
Yeah, it's a dream of mine to go to Celebration, dude. I would love to do that. And honestly, the flights to Chicago aren't that expensive from the Bay Area, which is pretty nice. I've done that a few times.
Oh, yeah.
So. All right, man. So let's get to Solo. Excuse me, just real quick. I haven't watched this yet. I have a link in the show notes. We're not going to watch it tonight because we are later than normal. But I have them. There's one featurette that I'm going to watch, and maybe we can talk about it another time after, maybe in conjunction with the movie. But there's a making of featurette for the Solo movie.
I'm sure there's going to be plenty.
Oh, there's going to be a ton in the show notes. So definitely check that out. And what do you got? This is huge news.
It is. This says according to TMZ, so whatever you want to take that for. But we evidently have a new official title for the Kenobi movie, and it sounds like it's going to be Obi-Wan, a Star Wars story.
I'm glad they did that instead of Kenobi. I was telling you this earlier.
Yeah.
I think it would have gotten confused with the novel, which is not canon, but awesome. So read the novel.
Right.
But that was called Kenobi.
Right.
So.
And the working title is going to be Joshua Tree.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
so I like that.
Nice.
And it looks like the director is going to be Stephen Daldry. And he is a 3-time Oscar-nominated director. He did The Hours.
Okay.
He did Billy Elliot.
Oh,
which is fantastic.
Yep.
A couple other things, but he's mostly known for... Oh, he does the new TV... Well, not new. It's been on for a couple of years now called The Crown.
Okay.
About the early days of Queen Elizabeth. And that's getting a ton of great reviews.
I've heard good things about that show.
This is not going to be his next film, though. His next film is actually going to be the film version of the Broadway play Wicked.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
And he's shooting that this year, and that's going to release next year. It looks like Obi-Wan's going to go into production spring of 2019.
All right.
So that means we're looking at probably 2022 or 2021 for Kenobi.
And you said earlier the time frame is 7 years before A New Hope.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to. Here, I'll read exactly what what the synopsis is. But again, take this for a grain of salt because this doesn't sound like it's written by Lucasfilm. Mm-hmm. It says the synopsis. Okay, well, this is somebody quoting the synopsis. So the synopsis reads as follows: Obi-Wan is on Tatooine, being an elusive hermit and stuff. but this is seriously writing.
Right.
But secretly watches over an infant Luke Skywalker. So it's got to be more than 7 years. So we're
gotta be.
probably talking 15.
Oh, you know what? I bet we're thinking 7 years because the next story we have has to do 7 years. So go ahead.
Could be. Okay.
Yeah.
Whom he delivered to his Uncle Owen. Tensions between the local farmers and a tribe of sand people headed by a ruthless war chief eventually brings Obi out of hiding.
That's the synopsis for Kenobi.
Is it?
The novel.
And into Jedi kick-ass mode. Scene. This isn't an official synopsis.
But that's what happens in the Kenobi novel. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, they could be drawing from it.
I bet.
So,
and I hope they do. That story was freaking cool.
Cool.
So anyway.
So that's what it looks like.
Yeah, we'll have a follow up to that soon.
I'm sure we're gonna get more news coming. So
let's talk about. Let's
talk about sex. Baby.
Yeah, exactly. This is the last thing for Star Wars, I think. Right? Jon Favreau's live action Star Wars show is going to be set, and this is why I think we have the number 7. Right.
Right.
Is supposedly going to be set 7 years after the Battle of Endor.
Yes.
Okay. And which I like. So that is between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens.
Right. It's at the beginning of the Republic heyday, the New Republic, and also the fledgling beginnings of the First Order.
Exactly. This says it's a period when the New Republic is essentially at its height. As far as you know, Mon Mothma, the Republic's first chancellor, have relinquished many emergency powers, still granted to the office of the chancellor when Palpatine was bestowed, etc. So
yeah, this actually all comes from a red carpet interview that somebody did with Jon Favreau when he was walking the red carpet at the Solo premiere, and he actually gave little things. And if you watch the video, it actually turns out he's written like 4 scripts already for 4 episodes, so he's well into it.
Yeah, Favreau's a busy guy.
But you got to remember, this isn't going to be until the Disney streaming service, which isn't until 2019 at least.
Exactly. All right. So last thing in Star Wars.
This is actually more Disney than Star Wars, but it actually has to do with Walt Disney World. We already talked about how they're going to be doing that fully immersive hotel. Well, they're taking some of that technology they're going to be using in the room windows, where we talked about where it won't feel like you're in Orlando. It's going to feel like you're on Coruscant or Alderaan or whatever. Well, they're going to be testing that stuff out on the monorails. And they're going to be putting new monorail cars new windows in the monorail cars where you're going around the parks, but it looks like you're in a Star Wars world.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I heard this on the Disney Disc podcast, and I think that's where this information is coming from. Yes. And I listen to them every week. It's an amazing podcast. And the two guys that do the podcast, they have a lot of inside connections to Imagineers and you know, the movers and shakers and the people who know stuff.
Right.
And they've been doing this for decades, which is pretty damn cool. So the idea obviously is that, you know, when you get close to, you know, Batuu or whatever, you're going to start seeing, you know, Star Wars like things in the distance. What was kind of funny is the guys were saying it might be kind of off-putting to people who don't know that's happening,
right,
or aren't Star Wars fans or whatever. Like,
it's gonna be all War of the Worlds.
But is it gonna be a warning? Are people gonna be running and screaming through the aisles because they're like, oh my god?
I'm sure they're gonna start with audio cues first.
I hope so. Yeah. They have to figure it out. But I think this is cool, man.
Oh, absolutely.
I really do, and I can't wait to go to that hotel. I can't wait to go to Batuu. Honestly, man, that's something I'm hoping to make Disney World happen around that time. So that'd be cool.
Absolutely. So, Disney World is well worth the trip.
Indeed. All right, man. So we were just moving and shaking. Shall we?
We shall.
I can't imagine any kind of future where I'm a hero.
Well, you're not.
In the future, none of you are heroes. You're legends.
All right, buddy. Before we get to our... Obviously, the main reason we're here and the main reason we're recording this late, for those of you in the chat room, is because we just came out of Deadpool 2, and we're going to talk about that, and there'll be spoilers. So we're going to talk about a few stories before we get to that, and then we'll do that, and we'll give a nice warning before. So let's get to it. I don't know if you've seen, or did we talk about the shows that were being canceled from Fox and stuff last week?
No, because what's happening is, and we talked about this a few months ago, but May is traditionally the season for what are called upfronts. And what that is it's when networks, and this could be anybody from ABC and NBC to FX and HBO, as well as Netflix and Hulu. They promote what shows that they've decided to cancel and what shows they're picking up to advertisers to sell advertising time.
Right.
So this traditionally hasn't been a fan thing, right? But the thing is fans are more passionate now about their shows, and they have much more of a real world connection to them through social media and whatnot, and so you tend to get a lot more reaction, and so things happen like last year. NBC canceled Timeless,
right?
And within one day, it was picked back up,
right?
That also happened this year, and I'll tell you with one in a minute.
And I think it's the first one, right?
I didn't open this list, so go ahead.
So I have a link in the show notes to a list from the Nerdist that talks about shows that have been canceled and some that could return. They talk about the odds of them coming back. The top of the list is Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yes, Brooklyn Nine-Nine was canceled
after 5 seasons on Fox.
Right, and it's actually won a Golden Globe for Best Comedy.
Yep.
The thing is it has not only a rabid fan base, I'm one of them, but it has a rabid celebrity fan base.
Yeah.
Including Lin-Manuel Miranda and Mark Hamill and people that are very vocal on Twitter.
And what's interesting about this is I don't remember where I heard it, whether it be Ralph Report or wherever I heard, it actually got picked up by, I want to say NBC. NBC picked it up. So it got canceled on Fox. NBC's like, yeah, we'll take that. And so they're running with it.
Right, and this isn't unheard of. If you remember when Scrubs happened, after 8 seasons, it got canceled, and then off of NBC, and then ABC picked it up for its 9th season.
Yeah. This one I'm bummed about. I know you're not as big a fan as I am, but my wife and I love Last Man on Earth. And
did that get canceled?
After 4 seasons on Fox, that is getting canceled. And from what I've heard, no hope of it coming back right now. And the last season ended on an insane cliffhanger, which is very frustrating for some of us. So I don't know what they're going to do with that.
Well, the cool thing now about having so much different media outlets, this happened a couple seasons ago when...
Well, Arrested Development did the same thing too.
Well, yeah, but there was the TV version of Frequency and another one I can't remember that both got canceled, and they came back and did... like a little webisode to wrap it up.
Yeah. Okay. Also, one near and dear to my wife and I is The Mick. After 2 seasons, is getting canceled. Yes.
The Mick is awesome.
The Mick is amazing, I'm frustrated with that, and I don't want to even talk about it. Lucifer, 3 seasons on
this
Fox.
is actually big because it ended on a cliffhanger this week, and this has a massive following, plus it's based on a DC property. So there's actual chances it could get picked up by Hulu or CW.
I imagine that one will come back in some way, shape, or form.
But, yeah, you never know.
Yeah, these next 2, I don't have any investment in. I haven't watched them, but The Exorcist after 2 seasons and Designated Survivor after 2 seasons on ABC.
Designated Survivor is really good. I'm actually almost a half season behind on that, though. But Exorcist just never seemed to find its feet.
Yeah. Quantico, another one from ABC.
Which is weird because its 3rd season just started.
Right. And this one I was actually about to start watching, and I'm bummed that it got canceled, even though I haven't started watching it, but I've heard good things about it, is The Expanse, which has had a really big presence at Comic-Con in the last couple of years as well.
Right, and it got canceled after its 3rd season.
And that's a sci-fi.
Yeah.
Taken after 2 seasons on NBC, and Life Sentence, I don't even know that one. So
yeah, not a shocker.
Here we are. And we talked last week about Rick and Morty getting 70 new episodes.
Which is basically 7 seasons.
Yeah. So, man, I am bummed about a few of these. I'm hoping we get some word soon about, some stuff, especially like Mick and Last Man on Earth. Like, I don't know. I really enjoy those shows. So it's just kind of a bummer. It feels like Fox is kind of cleaning house a little bit. I don't know what they're replacing with all these shows with either, though.
Yeah, they're replacing with a lot of new stuff. But other news is AP Bio got picked up for a 2nd season.
Oh, good, because I really dig that show.
Yeah, that's really funny. There's a little bit of house cleaning at CW. Not necessarily that anything got cut.
Not the DC stuff, but...
No, but is there a lot of news and a lot of schedule shifting.
Okay.
They really did not like the reaction that they got from doing Supergirl and then bringing Legends and then Supergirl back.
And then going back, yeah.
And so what they're doing is they're actually putting Supergirl and Supergirl's going to be on Sunday.
Okay.
Then you're going to have Legends and Arrow on Monday. Flash is going to be on Tuesday with Black Lightning.
Okay.
And so those 3 nights, right? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. They're going to have Supernatural on Thursday. They decided not to pick up the Wayward Sisters, which is a potential spinoff of Supernatural. They did not pick it up.
Okay.
But there is a new show that's going to be a spinoff of The Originals, which was a spinoff of itself off of Vampire Diaries.
Right. Okay.
So that's going to be on the same night as Supernatural. So that's a lot of shifting around. The other big news we got from CW is we found out what the big crossover event is going to be in November next year.
Okay.
Guess who it is?
No idea.
They are introducing not only Batwoman,
Oh, really?
but the city of Gotham.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is big news because they just announced that this upcoming season of Gotham is going to be the last season.
Yeah, they just said that was going to be the last season. So
that's
cool.
big. And then there's actually going to be the people that are behind Gotham are actually doing another Batman backstory.
Really?
But it's all going to be based around Alfred.
Oh, yeah. I think I heard about this.
It's going to be about Alfred in the 60s when he was an SAS soldier.
Oh, that's amazing.
So
Badass
that's
Alfred.
going to be awesome.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Oh, and it's when he meets up with Thomas Wayne.
Perfect. All right. So let's get to, I have a couple convention news stories. And one I haven't put in here yet, actually. I missed something because there's no link. Netflix, before we get out of here, is The Toys That Made Us, which is an amazing series.
I agree.
4 episodes. What was it? Star Wars, He-Man, G.I. Joe, and Barbie. Yeah. They are coming back with their season 2 next week, May 25th.
What storylines are?
No idea. I think there's a trailer actually on Netflix. I didn't watch it. I'll watch it later.
Well, while you talk about the
I'll talk about this stuff. All right, so big news actually. Silicon Valley Comic-Con, which has been around April the last 3 years, is moving to August. It's going to be August 16th through 18th, 2019 is going to be the next show. So
interesting.
There's tickets already on sale, which I find really...
They're just deciding to go to the end of the comic season or the convention season since the beginning. Well, not really the end because it's still going to have New York Comic Con after them in October.
The email I got alluded to the fact that this is what people have been wanting. The timing wasn't right.
Right.
For them to get the attendance maybe that they thought they could get. So I think they're trying a different time of year, which I think is fine. Maybe we can go. Maybe this year. It's early enough in the school year. Maybe we can do it.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
San Diego Comic-Con news. Before I get to our stuff, it looks like they're going to be utilizing an online lottery autograph system for autographs. And they did this at WonderCon this year. And from what I heard, it went okay for the most part. Obviously, people were upset when they didn't get the ones that they wanted. But it makes it so, you know, those crazy-ass lines that we had to stand in to maybe get what we kind of sort of wanted. And we got frequency, which is fine. But now they're going to do an online lottery system. So because we have a little bit different schedule this year, we might actually... be able to join this lottery system and get the autographs for the things that we want.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Which would be pretty cool. So, do you have a follow-up?
I do. Give me just a second.
Okay.
It looks like it's going to be for season 2. It's actually going to be 8 episodes.
Okay.
No, it doesn't look right. Okay, so 4 for definite are going to be Lego, Transformers, Hello Kitty, and Star Trek.
Oh, it's amazing. Oh, that sounds great. Okay. So, perfect. I'm really looking forward to that. So, that's next week. Some other Comic-Con San Diego news. We have some panels. So, the librarians are coming back. And that's a big deal. They're doing some stuff. I have a link in the show notes to it as well. There's some panels. And there's some stuff for educators as well, which is cool. I never really do that kind of stuff while I'm there. But I think that's something I might check out this year for sure.
Awesome.
And the big bummer for us is Sal Volcano. I just want to put this in there for Sal Volcano fans. If you're an Impractical Jokers fan, same as last year, he's having Roarwood Jr. And someone else named Steve Byrne open for him. But Sal Volcano's doing a stand-up show again. And we talked all about it last year in our wrap-up show,
which was
awesome.
It was actually a very good show. Plus, we had the Impractical Joker sitting behind us.
Yeah, it was really cool having Q and Murr and those guys sitting behind us. That was amazing. But it's exactly the same time as Hollywood Babylon, which you've already bought tickets for, which we've gone to every single year.
Every year.
So that's a bummer, but we have a link in the show notes if you're interested in that. So let's do really quick our update for our Cantina event,
Yep.
and then we'll get into Deadpool.
Sorry, really quick follow up on Toys That Made Us.
Follow up.
This is the end of the shows. So
This will be
those
it.
8 episodes are it. So the 4 from the first season, 4 from second season, no more after that.
And that'll be it. Okay. Sounds good. All right. Update. Confirmed as of today.
As of today,
Of recording this.
breaking news.
Breaking news. We are going to be doing our 3rd annual Pucked Cantina event at San Diego Comic-Con on the Friday night, which is the 20th of July. Okay. And we're going to be doing that, meeting up around 5 o'clock, starting recording probably around 6 or so, and doing a podcast. We have raffles. I've been talking to Mr. Musco himself about getting us some codes and stuff for this year. Hopefully we get some swag for raffle table,
Cool.
raffle contest, door prizes.
Don't bury the lead. Where's it going to be?
Oh, sorry. It is going to be at Mission Brewing Company for the 3rd year in a row. We didn't get squeezed out per se, but the upstairs space where we usually are at has been rented out.
Well, considering we actually don't rent these spaces, we're lucky we get something like this fairly close to. I mean, it's a walk, so get to know your Lyft driver. But
yeah. But the cool thing about it though is we have not, and thanks to Donna from Mission Brewing Company, she has accommodated us for 2 years.
Yes,
we haven't paid for the space.
No.
Last year she actually blocked the whole thing off for us.
Yes.
It was super nice of her. She doesn't have to do.
Do you remember the first year we were next to a speed dating thing?
Yeah, that was a trip.
That was awkward.
And we're trying to record a podcast, and there's speed dating in the background. But this year, actually, we're going to be in the production line area.
Basically, the back room.
Yeah, which actually might work out in our favor.
Right, it'll be quieter. Actually, if I remember correctly, it's a little bit cooler back there.
It'll be cooler. It'll be downstairs. And closer to the bar.
We actually have access to the bar still.
And so I think all of that stuff will work out in our favor. So if you're in the area and you're interested in coming and you just want to hang out with some Star Wars and SWTOR fans, definitely come and check us out. It's going to be a ton of fun. We're going to have T-shirts. We'll have prizes. We'll have raffles. I'll bring some socks. It'll be great. So,
and don't forget, we're also going to be selling the shirt that we're raising money for Extra Life.
Exactly.
So those will be there as well. And also a reminder, this is definitely too soon to mention this, but they do not sell food. So,
no, but hopefully there'll be a food truck there.
They have a kick-ass Mexican food truck, which is awesome. So bring cash.
And I'm thinking if they don't have a food truck out there this year, because we were on a Saturday last year, if they don't have a food truck for some reason, I think we'll, as a group, do some Uber Eats kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely.
And because that's the cool thing about Mission Brewing Company, since they don't have food, they don't give a crap if you bring food.
Yeah, because we're going to be buying some alcohol.
Oh, yeah, we'll be buying hella beers. So it's going to be a ton of fun. More details coming, but that's basically it, man.
Awesome.
So, all right.
Deadpool.
End of the show. Spoilers, magic. If you haven't seen Deadpool 2, which I can't imagine you have today, we are going to talk about Deadpool. So if you've not seen Deadpool 2, turn off the podcast. And I hate to do that, but turn off the podcast, see the movie, and then come back exactly where we're at. So, you haven't and won't. So, okay. Magic is here for the long haul. Here we go. So, Deadpool, dude. We just came out of the theater.
We did.
We've talked about the first film. I love the first film.
So did I.
I don't know. I don't know how you want to do this, and I don't really care where we go with it.
Okay,
we have no structure to our movie reviews.
No, but okay, I will say this is a little bit different because usually I find the good stuff in every movie.
Yeah.
And you're like, eh.
What do you mean?
No, you mean you like big movie but usually, eh.
What are you talking about? I love this movie.
No, I'm saying for usually.
Yeah, okay.
But this week, you love this movie.
I love this movie.
And I'm like, eh.
Oh, my God.
It was good. Don't get me wrong. And I love certain parts of it.
Oh, my God.
I felt it was a little, it just tried a little hard.
Oh, I think it tried enough. Here's the things I love about it. And I think this is because I'm a huge Deadpool fan and I love the comics. I'm going to talk a little softer. My wife hasn't seen it. She was supposed to go with us tonight. I think she's in the other room. I don't want to spoil anything for her. But here's the bottom line. Breaking of the fourth wall in this film was done almost exactly like it was. So well done like it was in the comics. It's basically like, I mean, he turned to the camera, 4 times and said, cue such artist.
Right.
and then the music would play.
Yes.
There was jokes that
That's just lazy writing.
well, there were jokes that continued throughout the entire film.
Yes.
For example, the dubstep joke.
Yeah.
That came back, and it's that kind of writing that I love. I love when they come back and they bring it full circle.
Prison Wallet.
I mean, there were so many little subtle things that just made me. This movie made me happy. This movie made me happy because I laughed the entire time. It was darker.
Very much so.
In that it was darker in the way that Deadpool is supposed to be dark, in that Deadpool is spurred from tragedy.
He's a tragic character.
And I know, and I love me some anti-heroes, and they did the anti-heroes journey to a T here, and it was really, really well done. But that said, the first film I think did a decent job of okay, so, you know, he's lost a lot, he had cancer, all this stuff. But this for me was exactly how the kind of writing that I like. I like the fact that it was dark, and they said, okay, we're going to take everything from this character.
Oh, yeah.
The movie started with him trying to kill himself.
Yes.
And that is huge when it comes to a character that can't die. And that was a theme that ran throughout the film. It's like, and he kept coming back to this. He kept butting up against it. I want to die, but it's not your time. And for a character that kills first, asks questions later, but also is redeemed multiple times throughout the film because he finds things that he latches onto. He finds a family outside of his relationship after his spoilers. His his girlfriend is killed in the beginning, right? The X-Force thing.
Okay, yeah.
The cameos.
Let's talk about the supporting characters.
Yeah.
First.
Okay.
Zazie Beetz was a phenomenal Domino.
Oh.
So chill in the coolest way.
And I think they captured the Domino luck factor.
Oh yeah.
And of course, and breaking the fourth wall, he's calling attention to it.
Yeah, he's questioning it the entire time. There's this whole chase scene.
Yeah.
Where her luck is just totally shown. But the funny thing is Deadpool's not with her at the time.
He's riding a stupid scooter trying to catch up.
Right. They're in microphone or
comlink or whatever.
Comlinks, right? And the whole time he's like questioning what luck is.
What is luck? What do you? And the whole time she's nothing but luck.
Right. And there's just what I love is at the very end the vehicle crashes and she's flying into the inflatable blow up thing.
Yeah.
And she's just like, all right, this is an everyday thing, and she crosses her arms and lands on her back.
It's like she's landing in.
And then walks back and hits her fro, and she's just like, bam.
That's amazing.
So it was fantastic. I thought Josh Brolin did a really good job as Cable.
He did.
Really brought, I mean, as much humanity as there can be in a half human, half cyborg.
Yeah. But the best part about it and bringing the Deadpool fourth wall part is that he called attention constantly to the fact that the Thanos line is one of my favorite lines. He says, I can't remember what he says, but he basically calls Brolin.
He calls him Thanos.
Calls him Thanos, which is hilarious because he is Thanos. And then at the same time, the height thing. Yeah. He's shorter than he would be in the comics, but whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
My favorite line was one that hardly anybody in the theater caught. But it was right after Josh Brolin got hit in the eye.
Yeah.
And he calls him One Eye Willie.
One Eye Willie, yeah.
Because Brolin was in Goonies.
That's so good. And then not only that, so we have those little moments, but talking about supporting characters and surprise characters, and sadly I'd seen something on the internet about this, but I had forgotten. And then when Juggernaut shows up,
right,
I was like, oh, that's right. And so there's this beast, there's this prison sequence, and there's this monster being contained.
Call him a monster, yeah.
They call him a monster, and he befriends the boy. The young boy who
Fire
Fist, who Deadpool
Russell
is trying to save, and Cable's trying to kill. The cool thing is when he makes his appearance, he's so Juggernaut, and I love.
And this is actually
Juggernaut.
like unlike. I mean, don't get me wrong. I liked. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Who played Juggernaut in the X-Men movies?
I know you're talking about.
This was much more. I mean, he had a huge body, huge head. I mean, he's bigger than Colossus.
Yeah,
it wasn't just a guy who had maximum inertia.
Right,
it wasn't like that. And I'm so glad they didn't do the typical Juggernaut line of "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch."
Yeah. No, they did. They really captured Juggernaut, and I like the fact that Deadpool was a fan of Juggernaut from the comics.
Yeah.
Like
his
that
favorite X-Man.
Like that made me happy. And
Because it was awesome because when he started going up into the fight, he was rattling off X-Men issues that Juggernaut was a main
he's like,
character.
oh, Juggernaut from this, and like Juggernaut's and he's like, I'm gonna rip you in half, and he rips him in half.
Yeah.
And probably one of the best sequences in the film. And I know we're all over the place,
Oh
but
god, this is so funny.
just after he rips him in half, the baby legs.
He's growing the baby legs.
I mean, if you remember the baby
And the
hand,
baby dick.
if you remember the baby hands from the first one, the baby dick, the baby legs thing
You actually
was
saw it.
brilliant. They did a freaking Basic Instinct on it.
yeah.
Oh, so good. Yeah, I mean, just the little things like, as soon as you think the movie is absurd, Deadpool will tell you why it's absurd. Like, oh, what? Is my house on Grindr or Tinder?
Tinder,
Because
yeah.
everybody shows up while he's growing the baby legs and he's doing this awkward thing with the old blind lady.
Right.
Like, it's so good, man.
Okay, I will say probably my favorite thing that just got turned on its head with this movie is
Yeah.
we're the entire time from the minute this movie was greenlit, everyone was saying how it's just going to be setting up X-Force, right? And so they had that famous picture that came out of the first major publicity picture, and it showed the X-Force at the back of the plane getting ready to jump out. And everyone's like, "Oh, this could be that person. This could be that person. This could be that person." And they spent at least a month just detailing the picture, saying, "Oh, that's Zeitgeist, and that's
They might have got a couple right.
Bedlam," and they end up getting almost everybody right. Right. But then what I love is within 5 minutes of really meeting all these characters, they're all
killed.
dead.
And they got killed and I
The
laughed
most crazy
the entire time. I mean, Homeboy gets and they and the foreshadowing was hilarious, and he called out the foreshadowing ahead of time.
Right.
Oh, heavy winds, and they were parachuting into a thing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're all flying everywhere. And Homeboy gets cut up by a helicopter.
Blade. Somebody gets electrocuted by power lines.
Oh, that was the invisible guy.
Yeah.
Which I thought was hilarious because
The
you didn't
Vanisher.
see him. Yeah,
you
the
see him
Vanisher.
for about 3 seconds the entire movie.
Now, I want you to look this up. Was the Vanisher Brad Pitt?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was Brad Pitt.
I'm really curious who the Juggernaut is because in the credits it said the Juggernaut as
Right.
himself.
I'm pretty sure it was Brad Pitt, the Vanisher.
That would be awesome.
Like when he's being electrocuted on the power lines, it looks like Brad Pitt.
I really couldn't tell.
Okay.
But anyway, so the funny
I'm
thing
looking
is
it up.
there is an actual X-Force at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
It's not the characters you originally thought were going to be in the X-Force.
And what made me really happy about this film though was just how everything. I mean, T.J. Miller's character was brilliant. Depender's character was
great.
Was amazing because he was trying to be a superhero, and at the end he does something.
They let in Peter.
Yeah, and at the end he does something so cool, and I don't really want to spoil that line right now, but
we're good.
But he does something so cool, and he's trying so hard, but he gets a place, and the relationship, even though she's dead. Let's talk about the time travel thing though, real quick.
Well, it's Cable, so of course there's time traveling going on.
Yeah. So
if you don't know who Cable is is the son of Cyclops.
Yeah.
And not Jean Grey.
No.
A Jean Grey clone.
Yes, that's it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he's basically a time traveling cyborg.
Right.
And so basically that's it. He's got this little contraption on his wrist. He doesn't time travel, he time slides.
Mm-hmm.
Because he can't control exactly where he goes or when he goes. He can just give it in the basic area.
It was Brad Pitt.
Is it?
It was Brad Pitt, everyone.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it was Brad Pitt playing the Vanisher, which I think is amazing. And yeah, the time travel thing was interesting because there was part of the anti-hero thing that I want to bring up too is that Deadpool is striving not only to keep this family together but save a member of that family, right? And at the end of the film, when they make that deal awkwardly with the baby legs thing with Cable saying, "Give me 30 seconds to try to save him. Give me 30 seconds to save the kid," you know? Right. And then you get the kind of, I guess, best way to say it would be the Back to the Future kind of reforming of the teddy bear that Deadpool or that Cable's carrying around. And that's a huge moment. And there are moments in this. The death scene was hilarious, by the way. There's so many moments in this that I'm going to see it again with my wife, hopefully over the weekend. I really thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Obviously more than William here, but for me,
I mean, I really enjoyed it. I liked.
Go ahead.
I liked a lot more of like just the little things that most people wouldn't catch. Like I loved it when they first got to the X Mansion and
that
you
was
actually
good.
see the X-Men in a room behind him. That
all the current X-Men, he's all, what? You think the studio could throw us a bone, right?
Right.
And then he doesn't see it, but there's like a sliding door, and the door is being closed, but it's all of the current X-Men, the young guys, right now behind the door. So that was cool.
okay, and it actually was Nicholas Hoult, Hugh Jackman.
Was it?
James
Oh yeah,
McAvoy.
it was all of them.
Evan Peters.
And I love Wolverine makes an appearance. The other cool thing. Oh, I love the dynamic. So going back to the not running jokes, but the consistency of the interactions. I loved. What's her name? The Asian girl. Yukio. Bye, Wade.
Okay,
Yukio.
Isn't Yukio the girl from Wolverine in Japan? And isn't that who he ends up...
I think so, but I'm not sure.
I'll have to look that up.
But it was really cool, though. Just the little things like that. Like, he has an instant connection with her. He likes her. She likes him. It's just, hi. Every time they see each other. It's adorable.
Okay, when Cable first shows up back in that time, he meets a couple of rednecks.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very like Terminator type of moment.
Yeah, I like that.
Alan Tudyk was one of the rednecks.
No.
Yes.
Which one? The one on the left with the pot belly or with the belly?
Redneck number 2 is what his character name was.
Okay. When I see it again, I have to look. Alan Tudyk was one of them. Okay. I like that conversation before that too, because he was explaining. I bet that was Tudyk explaining it. I bet it was the guy on the left.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Cool. So overall, I don't know where else we want to go with this.
I'm looking up to see who Juggernaut was.
Okay. So personally, for me, I like this film better than the first one. And I don't say that a lot about sequels, unless it's Star Wars sometimes. But I personally think the writing was tighter. The jokes were...
Okay, how did you like the post-credit scenes when
good.
Deadpool time slides?
Yeah. And so Yukio was in love with Logan, Magic says. Okay, that makes sense. So I don't... Personally, dude, I like this movie more than the first one. Only in that it was darker, but also funnier. It was... the writing was tighter, and the jokes more long-lived. They weren't just like one-off punchlines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the fourth wall breaking, for me, was way more consistent with what I love about Deadpool. So this one gets all the thumbs for me. Thumbs up.
Yeah, no, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
No, you already said you don't. That's fine.
No. Oh, dude, I freaking hate you.
I'm joking. Continue.
And I'll definitely see it again.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say? What else are we missing? Villains? I like that the kid was kind of ended up being sort of the villain kind of at the end.
Yeah.
Which it was the villain from the beginning too, I guess. But we didn't really fully realize it until about halfway through the movie.
Right.
Other villains, the orphanage thing. I like that they connected that with Domino as well. I thought that was well done. I don't know. Anything else? You're on your phone effing around. So.
Okay, so the other redneck.
Okay.
They're not sure. It could be either Jude Law or Matt Damon.
Really?
Because
I hope it's Damon.
Well, because the character, the actor that they listed in the credits was Dickie Greenleaf.
Okay.
And that's the character name for Jude Law in The Talented Mr. Ripley. But that's also the character that Matt Damon, because he kills him. And
that's funny. Okay. All right, cool. Anything else, my friend, about this movie? What are we missing? Soundtrack. Let's talk about music.
The music was good.
And this goes with the fourth wall part, too, is because a lot of times he kind of turned and say, cue the music, cue this song or whatever. But I think one of the more haunting and emotional pulls music-wise was towards the end where Deadpool dies, right? And they play not a cappella, but a slow version of... what's the song?
Take on Me.
Take on Me. And it's just it's a very emotional version of the song. I found myself singing along with it because it's just like,
dude, the person behind us was
singing. That was I know. That was a former student of mine. But that was a trip. I was not singing loud like that, but I was singing along with it too. I thought that was a trip.
Yeah, the music was really good. Because it wasn't all original cuts. It was like reimaginings
Totally.
of them, which is really cool.
The dubstep joke, I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, because it would just go right into dubstep.
And then they had 2 dubstep quips and then playing it, and then at the end he makes a quip saying, "You're probably Googling what the fuck is dubstep,"
Exactly.
which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, so that was good. I just looked it up. The Juggernaut character was completely CGI,
Right.
and they still haven't
don't
figured
know
out
the
who the voice
voices.
is. I'm
Okay.
guessing it was probably Ryan Reynolds.
Okay, that makes
Very
sense.
much how Benedict Cumberbatch did Dormammu.
Oh, Dormammu. Yeah, totally. All right, dude. Anything else?
No, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'll definitely see it again because just like we were talking about when we went and saw, what was the last big movie we just went and saw? It was funny.
The last reaction show we did?
Yeah.
What movie did we say?
Oh, Avengers. Duh.
Oh, duh. Yeah.
I had to go see it a second time because a lot of the jokes got drowned
Yeah.
out by the laughter in the crowd.
And I know I missed a couple things tonight because I was laughing too loud, and there was somebody in front of us that with a
Oh, that
with a
laugh.
very interesting laugh that we missed a couple things. So it was pretty cool. All right, I had a really fun time.
Yes.
Watching this movie. It was one of the more fun, actively entertaining times I've had in the theater in the last couple of years. I had a blast. Can't wait to see it again with the wife, and I'll have more insights when we come back to it.
Cool. Oh, I will say that I saw 2 other movies this week. I saw Overboard, which
All right.
I would say wait
Okay.
on. I saw Life of the Party with Melissa McCarthy.
Okay.
Go to the theaters and see that.
All right. Sounds good.
Definitely worth seeing. It's so funny.
All right, man. Good.
That's it.
So, thanks for tuning in to The Usual Podcast. If you have comments or questions, you can find us at theusualpodcast.com. Email us at theusualpodcast@gmail.com. And we are on Facebook, Google+, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. I am at Darth Pops on Twitter, and Will is at Admiral Griggs. iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, on all those places. Find us, like us, and share us. Support the show via t-shirts and merch, teespring.com/store/usualpodcast. You can get a free audiobook on us, audibletrial.com/usualpodcast. And the best way to help us and do all the things that we do is patreon.com/usualpodcast. We have early access to shows, blooper reels, stickers, all that kind of stuff. Trailer videos, trailer time, all that. So definitely that is the best way to support us. And we appreciate everybody who does. And thanks to our drinking buddies again. Thanks to people who go to the movies with us on these nights and don't appear on mic. Josh, Heather, Eddie, Dan. Dan was on the show, actually, not too long ago. So next week, we'll be coming back with our review of Han Solo, which I am really excited about.
Absolutely.
So, all right, buddy, let's get out of here.
Yeah, make sure you have a fun.
Have a fun. We will see you all next week.
Peace.
Thanks, Magic.
Thanks, Magic Night.
Sorry for the rush show, but I'm exhausted.
Was that really rushed? How much time is it?
It's about an hour. About an hour, which isn't... Actually, that's with our pre-show, so less than an hour. So we're good. All right, Magic, we are going to shut this bad boy down. Hopefully, I'll see you at the on the flippity flop blog side. Anyway, all right. Good night.
So long, farewell.